In 2013, Apple, once dominant in the smartphone and tablet arenas, saw increasing competition that ate away its market share. While it still innovated, its products received largely incremental updates, and there were no blockbusters that stole the show or defined a new category. For the first time since the iPhone went on sale in 2007, Apple diversified its smartphone lineup. In addition to a more powerful iPhone 5S based on a new processor, the company debuted a lower-cost model called the iPhone 5C. It's a colorful new addition to the line targeted at consumers in developed and developing markets that can't afford the conventional iPhone. In the US, the iPhone 5C costs between $100 and $200 with a 2-year contract. The iPhone 5S, Apple's flagship model, on the other hand, picks up where the iPhone 5C left off, costing between $200 and $400 with a 2-year contract. In addition to a faster processor, it also has an improved camera and fingerprint sensor. While the iPhone is often ranked as the best-selling smartphone, the large number of phones on sale by competitors like Samsung are together attracting more customers. And because Android has such a wide install base across hundreds of devices, it easily dwarfs iOS's market share. By the end of Q3, Android had 79% market share versus iOS, with just 14% according to IDC. Samsung shipped 232 million phones worldwide, which was more than double Apple's shipments. Apple's play with a cheaper phone is in hopes of getting the device into the hands of more consumers and hanging on to that market share. The competition between Apple and Samsung didn't just play out in stores, but in the courtroom as well. In April, Apple sued Samsung for infringement of several smartphone patents. The case has seen tens of thousands of pages of documents filed with the courts and hundreds of hours of arguments in the courtroom. The 2 jury trials have come down heavily in Apple's favor, and to date, $930 million of fines have been imposed on Samsung. At some point in 2014, the 2 sides are expected to return to court to argue the issues of legal fees, which for Apple top $60 million. New iPhones weren't the only mobile devices that got an update this year. The company's new tablet, called the iPad Air, was the first redesign of the device since its debut in 2010. The tablet is 20% thinner and 30% lighter than its predecessor. The bezel was also shrunk, and the resolution of the screen doubled versus the iPad 2. The iPad Air uses the same A7 processor as the iPhone 5S, and it can shoot 1080p HD video. The flagship tablet sells for $499, while the iPad mini with Retina display sells for $399. For those users still interested in traditional desktop computing, or at least need the processing power, Apple introduced a re-engineered Mac Pro. At about 10 inches tall, the cylindrical form factor is about an eighth the size of the Mac Pro tower. It's powered by a Xenon E5 processor based on Intel's Haswell microarchitecture. Apple said it's based around a unified thermal core to help keep the machine cool. The new Mac Pro includes connectivity not found on some older machines, including USB 3, Thunderbolt 2, and HDMI 1.4 ports. At the time of this production, the machine still wasn't on sale, but Apple has December posted on its website as the time the Mac Pro will start shipping. But will it fly off shelves? Well, the base model with a quad-core processor starts at $3,000, and the 6-core processor at $4,000, which means these machines aren't just for casual users. In addition to hardware updates, the company also took the wraps off iOS 7. The OS, which runs on the iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch, has a flatter look and feel with revamped icons, fonts, and other visual elements. With its rapid uptake, it now powers 75% of all Apple mobile devices. Hoping to help shoppers and keep tabs on them, all of Apple's 254 stores now use the company's iBeacon location services technology. It is Apple's entrance into the hot location-based marketing field, with the idea of improving brick-and-mortar stores' ability to compete with e-commerce giants. The service can give people additional information about certain products as they walk past them. So if shoppers are standing near the latest iPhones, a notification might pop up on their phone to let them know they're eligible for an upgrade. At the accessories table, the iBeacon technology could also let people use their iOS devices to learn more about certain products. While Apple still has loyal fans lining up to buy its products, the mobile device landscape is much more competitive than when the company entered and essentially created it. The competition, while likely troublesome to Apple, will ultimately benefit consumers with lower costs and wider selections. And that's the 2013 Apple Review. Be sure to check out our other year-end videos. In Boston, this is Nick Barber, IDG News Service.